Okay. So let's first create a test case manually. And whenever you create a test case, if you want to challenge yourself, write it down first in manual, right? If you manually write it down, what's going to happen is you're not going to skip any hard steps. Okay. If you're automating and you don't have any step written down, trust me, you're going to skip the hardest part thinking like, oh, okay, well, I can just go and do other things instead of this. But if you write it down and you commit to yourself and say, I will, no matter what, I'll go ahead and, you know, do this, then you're going to basically do it. Okay, let's go to the support and payment and claim is there. Add a vehicle form. So I'm going to probably, today I'm probably going to like do add a vehicle um, form testing. So the idea is that if I put in right here, John Doe, let's see. Okay. And then click on submit. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay. So it should basically allow me to submit with all my information, right? So I'm going to add vehicle information. I'm going to add policy number and I'm going to do everything manually. There is no recording. It's going to be painful for me, but you know, we're going to do section by section. This section belongs to one method that we're going to add to the class. This section will belong to another section, another, you know, method to the class. The vehicle information will be another section. Vehicle one will be one section. And then we're just going to click on submit. And if it says thank you, that means it worked, right? Again, this is a demo website. So even if I don't type anything, it still says thank you. So just keep that in mind. It's probably bugged, but we'll just create the test at least. So again, describing the test case to you guys, coming into this page, we're just entering information and then submitting, but we already created a commitment is that we're gonna go ahead and create section by section. I don't want to basically find the easy way out. So we already talked about what we'll do, and that's something that we're committing to at this moment. So the first thing first we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to the VS Code. So if I was a new employee, just joined the company, whatever, what should be my first thing to do? You know, in this case, I shouldn't just go ahead and start recording and copy and pasting my test cases. What I will do, I'll probably go ahead and see the structure of their test. So I know that typically test folder, this is how everybody names it. I'm going to go ahead and see the test and I'm going to say, oh, wow, okay. So they are using page object. That's great. Where are these things coming from, right? So for example, clicking on a request a code and I can see there is a class and I see the class is also, you know, there's a common class and there is also a request a code, you know, class as well that is being, you know, creating the instance of that class by using new keyword. And then where are these classes? I can see right here, the location. I can probably right click and go into that. There you go. And now I can see how the class and everything looks like. Okay. So I joined today. I don't have to like go ahead and feel like, you know, that I cannot create the test. I know for a fact if I again go back to my test, the only three, as you can see, 1 and 2 pages. So this one right here, if I go to definition, I can see there's another, you know, locator file that is created. And so I know only 3 files are involved to create a test based on their standard. Okay. Any question before we move forward? We're going to create new classes and files for these new tests. So the first thing first is going to be a lot of locators. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to also try to teach you guys how to create your own locators today. So pay real close attention. Let's see. Okay. So what would be the best possible way to go? Is it top down or bottom up? Right? That means if you think about the hierarchy, locator file is like the, the one is underneath the bottom. The very top is the test files. The middle file is the action files. Okay. So I can start listing my locator and go from there, or I can create my actions, go from there, or I can create the test files and go from there, right? So I'm going to go from the test file, and then maybe another test case will go from the bottom. I would say whatever is your preference. I think test file makes more sense. So in this case, if I'm adding a new vehicle to my insurance, then I have to relatively name my test. It's called add a vehicle right here. So I'm going to probably go ahead and name the test as add a vehicle. So new file, add vehicle, test.spec.js. Okay, so you can name it however you want. I would just look into existing tests and how they named it. Looks like camel case, so I'm gonna go from there. So now the very first thing is blank at this point. How do you go about it? What are some of the imports that you'll need? So if you go in here, you can see that the very first import is this import test, because you're using test in your test. Okay. And then test is coming from Playwright. Okay. And if you wonder where this is actually inside of your Node.js, as you can see. Okay. See at test Playwright. And then if you open it, you'll find the test, as you can see right there. Okay. So all the information are going to be in here as a dependency. So this is the very first one, import test from Playwright, right? So I'm going to go ahead and copy this to save us time. And I'm going to paste it there. So now that I did that, I can now use test, okay? And I can say, what do I want to do in this case? So I can name my test pretty relatively. So I'm gonna say, for example, verify that a user can add a new vehicle to the existing policy, for example, right? So you can name it pretty much relatively to your scenario, okay? So I'm gonna close that curly. Remember, if you have an open curly brace and you don't have a closing, it's gonna, it's gonna yell, right? It's gonna basically have issues. And then we have an open um, parentheses, then we have to have a closing parentheses somewhere, right? And that's where we put it right there. Okay, so now we can start writing our test. Before I organize, just to give you guys the entire picture, I'm gonna try to write the test here first, and then I'm gonna start to move into locator and action. So that way we know what's going on. Also, we'll use the common because common already has. So should I be rewriting my steps in terms of going to the, website? I shouldn't. I should reuse whatever I have. Even though my test is completely brand new, I should still be able to salvage anything from the previous test. Okay. So what can we do here? We can say add before, we can group it, whatever we want to do. So I can probably import the common. If I go back, if I'm confused, I can see that common has visit homepage, right? That's what the common has, and we need this because we want to visit the homepage. And after that, we want to click on add vehicle form. Support, we have to hover at support, and then we want to go ahead and click on add vehicle form. Okay, so very first thing, common, I can take this out and add it to my import. So far, any question? Because I know it's gonna be like, oh, we don't know that we can do this, right? Okay. You know what? So some of you guys probably didn't spend a lot of time, so I'm not gonna use anything that we have. we'll use it at the end so you guys can see. For now, let's just go with the completely blank. Okay, so we'll add this later at the end. So for example, if I was to use page, I have to add the page to the test itself, right? So in our case, if I go back, I see the page is right there, already added. I can say something like this, await. Why do we say await? Who can tell me why we use await? And it seems like we use await top of, like, front of every single line that we write, you know? Nobody here knows what await is for.
It's to handle like a specific like I would say like action or like a locator more specifically or more effectively.
It handles delay.
Okay, so that it doesn't add delay, right? So a thing before a function makes the function return a promise, and await makes a function wait for a promise. So what's happening is that if we don't put a wait and you say that, okay, page dot go to, you guys remember what go to for? You know what go to does?
Yeah, it goes to like a page, like a link.
Takes you
What
to
does it need? For it to work, what does it need inside?
This
A
means
lo
navigate the page.
Location, link.
Navigate the page.
single quote.
Okay. So what should I put in here in the middle? You guys are saying different things. So
Well, first you start with the quote.
okay, so put a single quote there. And the URL, right? Okay, this is pretty much automatically typing for me, but okay. So it takes the URL as an argument, and then it just basically visits there. So if I don't put await in here, what's gonna happen? It's gonna actually visit there, but it doesn't wait until it finish visiting. It will say, okay, I did it and done. It's like a one-way kind of thing, right? Where you will throw the stone in the water, but you're not gonna stay near the water to see what happens. You're just leaving. The work is done, or it will be done eventually, right? Does it make sense?
And Jewel, I have a
If you're
question.
not, Mhm.
So does await waits for the page to be loaded? Does that?
Well, that depends on the go-to method. Like if the go-to method actually waits, if there
Mhm.
is, so as you can see, go-to method can have the capability to make sure that it is loaded,
Mhm.
right? But the await makes sure that whatever that go-to method as a function supposed to do,
Mhm.
it finished doing
Ah.
before it moves on to the next line of code. Okay, so the same example, like you threw a stone, in the water and you just left. You don't know what happened to that stone. It could actually hit a bird or something. You don't know really, like you weren't even there. You just threw it and you left right away. And without using await, you're basically doing the same thing. So if you put await now, not only that you will throw the stone to the water, you're gonna actually wait until see the outcome before moving on. Okay, just keep that in mind. Now, await doesn't need to be used everywhere. It only if you know that the method does something, like this function has a job to do. So you wait until the job is finished. But if you have something that is instant, there is no need for you to wait or anything. Then you don't need await. For example, await expect, right? you don't need to put await in front of expect because expect already works with things that are done. Okay, it will not just, work with something that is not done already, right? So we'll probably go as an example on that. There are some things where await expect works with maybe still on the fly, and then you'll have to use await. Okay, so the first thing we visited, I'm gonna write comments, and I'm gonna basically go. Okay, the first thing is visit the site, for example. The next very thing that we need to do is that instead of, okay, so when we are here, I'm gonna go back to the actual website. Oh, this is the production actually. Okay, so I'm right here. I need to hover over support. Okay, support is where I need to hover over. Okay, so now how do I do that? Somebody tell me. You don't have to tell me code. Just tell me what is your idea of hovering over. What do I have to do in order to hover?
Put your
Need to get
mouse
the
on.
element of the support from inspect, then put into the formula.
Yeah, that's not the answer I'm looking for. Just inspect element doesn't, it's part of the work, but it's not really, it's not telling me what you're gonna be doing.
We're gonna click.
So it's pretty simple, right? Like, remember we talked about it. Whenever you want to do any action, what do we have to do? It doesn't matter what action. Hover is an action, right? What do we have to do? What do you do first if you want to do anything at all? What is the first thing you have to do?
The first thing I would do is find the locator.
Exactly. First thing, you have to make sure that, before you even do hover, like, don't you want to like say where you want to hover? You're gonna just go ahead and hover everywhere. Why don't you want to say I want to hover only on support? Or do you want to hover on everything, the whole page? Right? So you want to hover on the support. Okay, so let's go ahead and write this code. So I'm gonna do await page dot first. I need to find it. So I'm gonna say locator. Okay, and now I can say a few things. So I need to find what is the support has as a locator. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on inspect. I'm gonna see, oh, it's too big. 1 second. Why is it? Oh, under, okay. So now I need to find out what does the support have, right? So I clicked on it and I can see that support has a class name. It has a ARIA label support. Okay, ARIA label is for compliance related, where people with disabilities, when they use the application and if they hover over, it'll read it out to them what the button means, right? So that's why they add ARIA label. You have data toggle drop down, which we cannot use. It's a very much not very relevant to the support link. We have a role we cannot use, right? So the only thing I can see here is to use the ARIA label, okay? And it's a link, right? How do I know it's a link? By looking here, not there. How do I know that it's a link? Just by looking at the code right here. It's a tag. Any link will have a tag, right? As you can see, this is the a tag and this is the text of the link. Now, the great thing about Playwright is that it can also use the text itself. So support has a text. The only thing you have to make sure that there is no other place in the application has the word support. If it does, then we have a problem. It's going to try to click on everything that has this text, right? So to be safe, I can say I will go ahead and take the area label. I'm gonna copy the area label. Control C. Okay, so now I have it here. If I go ahead and put square bracket on both sides, it becomes the locator, right? This is how we used to do it in Selenium, right? Create a locator back in the days. So now I know it's 1 of 1 and it's actually is there. So I can actually use this if I want to. The other way, the Playwright way to do it is this, okay? It's gonna be text equal to support. Okay, so this is how that Playwright also can click on the support. You look at the same exact, way, not there. You see this is uppercase and this is lowercase. So it actually goes by this. Now, what the Playwright will do is that because you're saying just the text, Playwright will get confused. So you have to add a little bit more information. For example, a tag, right? Or you can say link containing, right? A link containing a text, right? So for example, okay, let's see. Examples, some are here. Get by link, right? So maybe get by link you can use. Let's see. If I type it in here. Locators include a button check. Okay, links. Let's see how the get by role. You got the button there.
We can
Get
also
by
do by
label.
selector and XPath, right?
Get by text, as you can see. Let's see what else we have. Get by title. We don't want that. Get by test ID. Get by test ID locator. As you can see, button. We can use CSS. What else we have? Get by text. Locator itself. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with the one that I'm trying to use. So maybe it's better because the recording will give you even more simplified one when you actually use CodeGen. But this is the way that I created this locator. I'm using area label. I need the attribute and I need the value of it. Okay, so just like that. I did nothing crazy. All I did is copy both and put a square bracket on both sides. Okay. So I'll go ahead and use this because it's more reliable. Now, the reason why I have a single quote outside and double quote inside is because I already have double quote inside, so I cannot put double quote outside. So it has to be one or the other. So it knows that the whole thing belongs to the single quote, but then this guy belongs to double quote, right? That's the way. Otherwise, if I put double quote outside and double quote inside, it doesn't know where it ends and where it, actually starts. So just so you know, single quote is something that you will use all the time, but double quote you'll be using in this special needs situation. So now page dot, all I have to do is dot hover, method. That's it. Okay, and that's it. So now I hovered over, right? Hover over support link. Okay. The next thing, what do I need to do? The next thing, if I hover over, the next thing I need to basically click on
Click
add
on
a
Add a
vehicle form, right? Okay. So now, let's find out if this worked on the first place. Okay, if it worked for me. Now, what I will do, I will pause my test so I can physically see what really happened. Okay. So I'm gonna say await page dot pause, right? I can do that and I can actually see what happened, right? But then if I use the UI, I don't even have to put the pause. I will know that if it actually did it or not. Okay. How many people here know how to run a single test?
Maybe I know that.
it should be in the
Go ahead,
README.
Tom.
Do you add test before tests? the name of
So-
the folder,
Okay, give me the command.
X,
npx playwright
Playwright, test,
and then test. Okay.
and then space tests.
space dot test.
Okay, so copying the relative path. Okay.
Paste,
This.
and then,
Okay.
yeah,
So maybe before test, we need to put dot.
Where here? Right
Yes,
here?
here.
Why?
I learned like that.
Okay. Yeah. If you tell me dot slash, then I would understand you have a logic there. But just dot doesn't make sense to me because
The dot, then slash.
right. That's what I was saying. Okay. So now if I want to see it, I'm gonna use the word headed, right? So I can see what happened. Okay, and it's using Chromium. And boom, right? So, and actually, let's see, where is this? Inspector showed up right here because we're pausing, right? It just paused. It wasn't long enough for me to see what happened there. Okay, maybe run it through the UI mode. See, because it has the edit is done. Let's do UI. I will run it so we can see real fast. There you go. It hovered, but not long enough to, yeah. Or okay, went there and then hovered. And then paused right away. Okay. All right. Did they hover? Let's see if the next line works. If it doesn't, click on the add a vehicle form. Okay, so now in this time, we'll use this one, the suggestion right here. So add a vehicle, basically locator, and then we're using the text. As you can see, we're defining by text, but let's see what else we have as an option. So notice, like, if I have to, it's actually click. Hover doesn't, okay. So if I hover, it shows, but then if I click on it, it still shows, right? So isn't it better to just click on it? Okay. Let's see. Hover also works. I'm gonna refresh just to get an idea here because I have to see the behavior of this, right? If I go and hover, it's good, but I think I have to click on it first. So for example, resources, it shows. Okay, that's fine. So we need one for add a vehicle. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna inspect directly from here so I can actually see. You see? ARIA label, we can actually use the ARIA label if we want to, or we can use the text add a vehicle form because at least in that context, the text is gonna be, okay, so this time we're using text equal to add a vehicle form and we're just clicking, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and run this. I remove the Control Z and I'm gonna run it through UI so we can actually see what's happening. And it's just a single test. So notice it passed. If I click on to see a little bit more. Okay, so if I click on this guy, I don't see anything actually happen, right? But then the test passed. Who can tell me what happened here? This is something that I was talking about.
Maybe you need to put some wait statement.
Okay, but
Or
let's
do you need
say
to put
we'll
a
put a,
expect?
yeah, because if you don't have an expect, it will not tell you pass or fail. It will just say, oh, I did it. It's like almost lying to you. Even if it didn't do it, it'll say I did it. Okay, so then maybe we can put like something, some wait for to make sure it actually waits before hovering. And then maybe we'll put some do right here also wait for, so it kind of waits for the element, right? Instead of saying wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, we don't do that. Those are static wait, right? We don't do that. So now that we have this, notice the pattern here. How come this is same, right? We're using the same locator over and over again, right? So isn't it better we move this locator somewhere to do that? So just keep that in mind, what we can do. We'll organize this test after we write it. So I'm gonna run it one more time. Okay, so let's see this time what happens at least. Since it has wait for, it will actually give itself some time before even finishing the test. Okay, so it came here, support, and then wait for the vehicle. Locator text, okay, form, and then clicked on it. Okay. But I don't see anything. Okay. So what I will do, I'll put await page dot wait. Let's see what else can I, okay, let's say wait for timeout. This is the manual way to put waits, right? You should never use this. This is just me trying to find out what's going on here. Okay. Putting 5,000, 5 seconds wait in between milliseconds. So I'm gonna put a time after the hover. I'm gonna put 5 seconds to see what's happening. Okay, come on, save. Let's see. Okay, wait for timeout. Notice like it's waiting now for 5 seconds. Okay. And then it's waiting again. Okay, so it's lying to us right now. It didn't even vehicle add. So maybe like somewhere in the page. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, now it's good. So it's just super fast. It's just super fast. I was thinking, why is it kind of lying to us at this moment and saying it's passing? Now we can see it because we have 5 seconds wait. So up to this much, we're good. Okay. I'll keep the 5 seconds wait so we can actually see it ourselves. And then we'll remove that when we're done with our test. Okay. So the next thing we can do is that, again, as a QA engineer, when you land on the page for the first time, what do?
You verify it.
Exactly. You want to make sure that you're on the right page. So I'm going to verify this. Okay. So the first thing first, notice like our tests do not have any expect or anything. So we got the test and then no expect. So if I was brand new, I would go back to the previous test and say, okay, how did they use expect? Oh, all I have to do is add this guy. That's it. Then I have access to the expect. Pretty easy, right? So I'll go ahead and add this. And then I want to add an assertion. It's a text assertion. But again, I'm a brand new person. I don't know what to do. I'll go in here because this is my document that I can use. I'm going to look for the right thing so I can get some help. So on the left side, let's see, do I see assertion somewhere? Here you go. I can see assertion. And I can see it says something should have text something, right? We're looking for text validation. So we can probably use this. But then there is way more assertions that we have that we can use. It doesn't have to be just that, right? So we can actually use any of these if we would like to use, but I'll take the text assertion just to say to have text, right? But we need, in the beginning, we do need to locate the element. Okay. Anybody want to tell me how I can add this here?
Juke, can you repeat it? I was in the bathroom.
Okay, so we are on this page, right? We actually did the test right there. We're on the new page now. And the first thing before we move forward with this build, we want to make sure that this text exists on the page. I just showed you guys how we can do this right here. I'm asking you to help me write the next line to verify.
Await.expect. Then inside the parenthesis locator.
Page. Okay.
Then dot. Where you see the suggestion to contain text.
It becomes a little bit easier. I gotta turn off my AI from this thing.
Headline
Copilot.
number 1.
So for example, I have to locate this first, right? Anytime you want to do something, you have to locate it first. What is the location of this? Oh, it has an ID and it has H1. Which one should I use the most? You know, which one do you think I should use?
The ID.
Locator,
ID.
right? The ID probably your first choice because ID is meant to be unique, but sometimes it's not. So you just have to make sure that it is unique. So I'll take the ID as a locator, and I'm gonna go ahead and use the ID. So these should contain. That means it doesn't matter how many other type of elements. So this is an element, which is a parent element, and this is the child element, right? So if I use contain text, it doesn't care if it's a child, right? Otherwise, it would expect this guy to have the text, not this guy, right? So you just have to know the difference. So I will go ahead and use the ID right here. Okay, and then H1 is fine because that one page should have only one H1, right? And so that's one of the good things that that H1 can be also used for to locate an element. Let's see how many H1 is in here actually, because only, okay, this application will have only one because it's a simple application, but when you go to work, sometimes you'll have two of them in two different locations. So we can't really depend on this guy. ID is something that we can probably depend on more. So now it says to have text or to, we can say contain probably. There is to be attached. Let's see what other ones that we have attribute to contain text, okay? So I'll probably go with the contain text to see how you can use it. If I click on it, it says that, okay, locator, we already located, right? And then all I have to do is that say to contain and then put the text, whatever text I would like, okay? So now I will go back. Okay. And what was the actual text? Actually, this is not the right text. It's gonna say secure. C, and I'll go ahead and paste it here. All right. I'm going pretty slow, so hopefully you guys can catch up, right? Notice it's saying, oh, await it has no effect in this case. You can probably ignore that thing. The right way to do it is actually await should be before the page, because this is the guy who's actually, okay, this is where the await should be. So you don't get the other warnings. So I'm gonna move this down here and I'm gonna put it into So we can actually see what happens. The other thing that I need you to understand is that so far, when I wrote this test, I didn't move forward until I know that one line is working. So you should never go and write 20 test cases and at the end you tell me all 20 doesn't work, right? You should be always, even if you write one line, you want to make sure that it works. And the other thing is UI, since our UI is open, you don't have to close and open all the time. It will adapt to the new change and run it for you. So you can probably use the UI as much as possible to help you create this test. Okay. So it says to contain is not a function. Okay. And why that could be the case, right? So that could be a few reasons. One is that the expect. Okay, let me just remove this just to test the idea because our weight should be inside as far as I would say, but I would still entertain this. Let's see, let's go ahead and run it. Type error, okay. So to contain is not a function. Type error page.locator. So locator, I don't know if I made a spelling mistake there, but okay. So let me go to the contain text and see what is the case, right? Because this should be okay. So notice to contain text is right here. We are using this. Okay, so we just have to change the way that we wrote our code, right? All right, so okay. That's fine. And then, so we add that to contain text. Okay. Got it. Okay. So the syntax was improper when we wrote it, right? So this whole thing belongs to one, right? So like, for example, this whole thing, and then we would be able to wrap it under expect. Okay, so just so you say, expect is the, oh, this is the wrong way. Okay, right here, right, on the right. Okay, this is expect is outside, and then the whole entire code to locate is one, and you close it, and only then you would be able to use the contain text. So we didn't close this, right? So let me go ahead and move this out of the way first. Even the syntax you need to be careful with. And then I'm gonna go ahead and close it right here. Okay. And then expect and and then
Yeah,
just
yeah,
remove this
yep,
guy.
yep.
That's it. Okay, so now you see the syntax, right? This is the way you're gonna be following the syntax. Let's run it now. Anybody is confused? Oh, I can just open right here. As long as you saved, you would be able to go ahead and run it. So it's waiting for 5 seconds, whatever is the case, and our test passed. Okay. Now that we just made sure we're on the right page, if I was to now fill the form, obviously I'm going to take this out and put it down there somewhere so we can, okay, you know what, I'm going to remove that for now. So fill in the form. The first thing first is filling out the name, right? Like the first name, last name, and all of that, right? So if I go back to this, we got the first name, last name, email, phone number, and 5 digits. So each of you guys, I'm going to pick one at a time. And you tell me the syntax to fill out the first name, last name, email, and phone number. So the first 5 people are going to be giving me one at a time. And then once we are done, we can go to the next. And then vehicle will be the next. So that way we all work together, right? Okay. So the very first one, Okay. Fill out for the first one is first name. Who wants to give me the syntax? I'll start you off. Await. Okay.
Me.
Go for it.
So await dot page dot locator.
Page dot no locator. Okay.
Then inside the parenthesis, we need to put the element. I mean, yeah, inspect. Then dot fill.
Okay. Think carefully before you say anything because you're saying a whole bunch of things. And you're naming things wrong. So I open the inspect. What do you want to do next?
Then click on the first empty box and
Okay.
inspect them.
Okay.
Inspect it.
I did that.
Then we need to identify the unique ID, class, or name, whatever is have.
Okay. So
we can
what do
choose
you
the
want to
ID.
use?
ID.
Okay. So it's of name. Just to take a good measure, I'll test it here to make sure first name is only
Control F,
one
yeah.
match. Right. Control F. I can also put a hashtag and boom. It's 1 of 1 as a locator. Whenever you see 1 of 1, that means it's gonna work.
Yes.
If it's an ID, you put a hashtag in front of it as a locator, okay?
Then dot
And then what
fill
do I do next? Dot field,
inside the parentheses. You can put any name.
okay, John, right? Okay. But I don't want to type John. I want to type something new every time. Okay,
You can-
first name, last name, I'm gonna type something new every time. So this is program, this is not like manual text, right? So how can I do that? Who can help me with this?
So you can just simply write the name, whatever we want. Maybe Hussein.
Here, I want to change every time.
Yeah.
Every time it should be something new.
Do you leave it blank?
No. Blank. How that helps, right? You have to create a message, right? Maybe we can put it in the comment, right? Okay, we'll come back to this. I'm gonna show you how to create unique test data. First name, last name, all of that. Okay, who wants to help with the next one for the last name? Okay, Galina.
Yeah, what? Oh,
Yeah, so same page that Peter.
Locator.
And then we go to the page to inspect it.
Okay, and then going back here, we see there is a ID.
Yeah, so
I'll go ahead and take that. 1 of 1. Control C. And then you're gonna use dot.
fill.
Okay.
And this is a lot.
Okay, good. Can I use something like this?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's there is a 2 variation of this. Fill will fill out all of it at the same time. Type will type one character at a time, mimicking like a human. Okay. The old syntax, how Playwright used to recommend is this, okay? This still works. And similar, basically, you would be able to use without the class. And then you would have to, when you say fill, you'd have to enter this and then what you want to fill with, you know? Like for example, dough, and you don't need the last. This is how the old way that Playwright used to do. I'll remove that, just so you guys know. Going back locator. Currently, Playwright wants you to use locator class as much as possible. So that's the recommendation. Okay. Email. It's pretty much the same. I'll just go ahead and skip that. Phone number is the next, as you can see, it has an ID. Wait, phone, that. And the reason why it's typing is because we had this test and another test somewhere here. So it knows to kind of fill this information that are same. Okay, the zip code. And then policy. Okay, so policy number is the next one. Okay, who wants to give me the policy number? Okay, syntax for policy number. Okay, let's see. PRO, you want to help with the policy number?
Sure. So first it'd be await
Okay,
page.locator,
okay,
parentheses.
okay.
Then we go back to the website to inspect element.
Okay. Which one do you want to use? This looks pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, this one looks a lot different from the others. But
Yeah.
wouldn't that still be unique? The name?
Yeah, I mean, we have to use both at the same time. Let's see, I'm gonna just test it out to make sure it works. Yep, 1 of 1, and it's working. So I'll go ahead and take this.
And then you paste it?
Okay, dot fill. And then just put some number in here, I guess 1, 2, okay, something, okay. I'll keep this, but then we want policy number to be different at all times. We want the first name, last name, email, phone number, and all of these should be, every time it runs the test, it should be different. So start thinking about the idea. Drop down.
Sorry. For having different name, what we can do, we did just like the locators. We'll create another file with the dataset file. And we'll call it every time we run a test, something like that.
Yeah, but more efficient way. So we'll talk about that. We'll do it in a better way. That's doable. Okay, somebody raise hand. Go ahead.
My question is on the first name, why you have the double quotation? Is it intentionally or?
Oh no, so I mentioned single and double quote in the very beginning. You use single quote as much as possible. Double quote is only for special situations. Okay, so you use double quote when you have things inside, which I'll show you guys. Double quote is only for, let's say, something other than like simple string. This is a string, this is a string. It doesn't have anything inside, but the moment you have something like this, now you have a variable inside, then you have to use double quote. If you have space all over the place, you have to use double quote. For example, this one, you see double quote because there's a space and there's some special character. So double quote is encasing it. Okay, and then single quote is outside. So now if I put single quote here, and then double quote outside, it's not gonna work because there is a space in there. Then we need to escape, okay? That's fine. So the next one is gonna be drop down. Let's see, who should I choose? Rahul, you wanna help with the drop down? The first drop down, we want to select maybe the January. Today is like 18, so we'll do January 20. Today's from today, and then 2024. You know what? Let's do future. We want to do February. We want to do the 1st, and then maybe we'll do 2025. So it's not default. Okay. who here doesn't know how to do drop down? You know, like you have a document here. I can write drop down. And it gives me select option in the drop down. So I click on that and let's see what it tells me. Locator dot something something. Okay, look. So you have element and then you have to select option, right? You can select by label. You can select, you can have multiple selection if you'd like. But the most important thing is your dropdown has to have this structure. So let me go back and see if we have this structure, okay? So if I go ahead and click on this guy right here, and wow, it has it, right? You got the select and you have the options. Not only that it has the value, but it also have the text. We want the February, the value is 202, but it's still a string. It's not a number. How do I know this is not a number and it's a string? Okay, the value, how do I know it's not a number?
So if anything inside the quotation is a string, without quotation, then it should be a number.
Good. Anything and everything inside of the quotation is going to be a string, no matter what. Okay, so now we know how to deal with the dropdown. Okay, single select matching value. It says element. What does that mean? Who wants to get me started? First of all, is going to be any difference than how we did action in the previous elements? Is this an element? Is this an element right here? Is this an element?
Yes.
Okay, so then how do we deal with the dropdown?
Can we do it the same way we did earlier? When you hover over.
Okay, so guide me.
So okay, so it'll be wait page dot locator. Open parentheses. And we will have to put the locator in there.
Okay, so let me find the locator. Okay, so this is for the February, so I can see this is the name. So you want the whole thing, correct? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the square bracket, and now you have your locator.
You dot click.
Really? So you want to click for what reason?
So the drop down can be shown.
Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, let's see the document real fast. It says locator, and then it doesn't say click. It just say you can just go ahead and select something. You can put options if you'd like. As you can see, the options could be an object, and you can have the right. You got the select option right here, and you can just pass on further value. And it
But
works with value
see the-
or label.
But to see the drop down, we need to click on it, right? Or maybe hover.
Yeah, I'm telling you how the Playwright will treat this, right? Of course, as a human, you'll have to click on it, but then Playwright may handle the click for you if you just use select an option, because how are you going to select an option without clicking? So this guy, let me copy and see the code inside of it. And then go ahead and paste it there. instead of January, I want February actually, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go ahead and copy February. Oh, being paste, okay. Now, if I go into the select option, you can see some of the abilities the select an option does, right? It has the element handle. It looks based on the value, label, or index number. Okay, so you would be able to, if I click on this, it should probably take me to the code so I can read the code. Let's see details. Okay. But anyways, select an option should do what it should do. So let's go ahead and, I'll put a time here so we can see page dot wait for timeout. Maybe 5,000 seconds. Okay, so notice like how slow I am, right? In terms of writing these tests. I'm doing it one line at a time. There's no rush because again, you have to write a good test. Let's go ahead and write now. Let's go and see our work as long as it, oh, look at that. It filled out everything and then we can see February was done. Okay. So the next one is 18 and all. It's going to be probably the same, right? But I'm going to go ahead and add those two. Right. So I'm going to copy this. Somebody just give me the locator and the options. Okay. So we have two more, one for the year, one for the month. Okay. Sorry, one for the day. So if I go back to the application, let me go back real quick. If I click on this guy for number 1, as you can see, this is the locator, the name, copy, and then I'm not gonna test this one because we've been, we know this is working. It's a pattern, right? You go with the flow. You realize this one didn't fail you up until, oh, what am I doing? Tracking. Okay, let me remove those stuff. Where's my stuff? Okay, where did it go? Okay, right here. And then we have the year. Select, and this is the name. The same one that we're using. As you can see, the only thing is different is the last one, which is year. So I'm going to change that to year, and then we're good to go. Okay. So we get the month, day, and year. Now the question is, what should be the value here? If I want maybe like the 20th in terms of day, if I want the 20th, what should I put there? If I put one without the quotation, right, it's not going to work because, can you tell me why? Even though we have an option that doesn't have code, right? It's a number, actual number right here. But the reason why it's not going to work because select an option is specifically telling you, I need a string. I need a string and that's it. I don't accept anything else, okay? So even though you have a number, it doesn't matter. So now I go for the year. As you can see, year has a number too, but it doesn't matter. We're going to do 2024, oh, sorry, 2025. All I have to do is do 2025, and I'm going to go ahead and run it. Okay, it's filled out and it's too fast. That's one of the things, just way too fast. Sometimes you'll probably find yourself slowing the test down at work because your application cannot handle the rapid action that Playwright is doing, and you purposely have to slow it down. And we'll show you how to slow it down. But let's look at it. Everything else looks good so far. The test so far is good. It filled out all this information. Great. Let me go back in here to my VS Code. The next one is filling out Policy number is done. We got the vehicle information. And it's a lot. So let me go ahead and add those. The next one is a drop down, which is number 1, 2. This is by default is number 1. So I'm not gonna mess around with this unless I want 2 vehicle. I'm gonna leave that as is, vehicle information. Vehicle number 1, purchase date, vehicle year, make, model, and all of that needs to be added, right? Now I'm gonna basically give myself a shortcut, not to you guys, okay? So just don't follow what I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to speed things up because we have to cover GitHub if we have the time. So what I'm going to do this time is that I'm gonna go ahead and finish the UI thing. I'm gonna change this to say the page.pause. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right here. And instead of UI, I just want to use the edit mode. So it will go ahead and stop right there, and it should give me the inspector like this. So it paused it right there. I'm gonna click on record. The remainder of the notice, like everything else is done. Okay, and it's doing it. The remainder I'm gonna record it because it's just way too many fields. We should spend time on things that not so much repeated. So I'm gonna click on this guy. I'm gonna click on 1. I'm gonna click on January and select purchase date February. Select February, maybe like 19. I'm gonna say 2025. Vehicle 1 year is 2025, brand new, right? And then make is, I don't know. What do you guys like? Tesla? All right. Model, maybe like X. VIN number, we'll put some VIN numbers. So let's say ZMY and some bunch of number there. Primary driver is gonna be John. Currently 0. Distance is only 5,000. Oh, sorry, not 5,000. Current commute maybe like what, 20 miles. Estimated yearly mileage you're using 5,000. Ownership is owned. You paid for it. Primary use is gonna be pleasure. Anti-theft and all this stuff. We'll leave it as is. Passive, okay, we'll just leave it as is. Anti-brake lock, whatever lock. Yes. All of these probably applies because, you know, brand new car. Oh, no, this is no. Vehicle ever used for deliveries, no. Deductibles, let's do $500 deductible, so we get a less monthly payment. Pollution deductible, let's go ahead and put another 5. Full glass, I don't want a glass, right? Agent name, maybe somebody who referred, whatever is the case. I'm gonna say Craig or something. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click on submit. Okay, and we're just looking for the word thank you. So right here on the eyes, and maybe ABC, whatever. Click on this guy, click OK, and then our test is done. I'm gonna do another one right there. Click and done. Okay. So all of these things was recorded. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and use it for our test. And the whole goal of today is that you have multiple ways to deal with. Okay, so see how many things came in. I'm gonna first make sure the test works. And if it does, the next thing what I wanna do is to organize and optimize this test. Okay, so you see how messy all the test looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. if this test works, then the next thing is to, okay, let's go and run it. Oops, okay. Filling out all this information, submit, thank you, and done. Okay, it passed. That's pretty fast. So now that everything is working, let's go ahead and organize. Okay, so this is where a lot of people couldn't do their homework. Hopefully today it would be a bit more easier to do it. The first thing I noticed that this thing right here is a base URL, and we already have a step that comes from common. Okay, common already has a visiting homepage. Okay, so we're gonna take things from common. We're gonna create files that we that will be related to these test cases that we have today. So the first thing first, let's bring things from common. Okay, so common action, we want to call the common action. So I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to say const, and oh, it's just typing things for me. Okay, so we got the common page. In this case, what we just did is that we're saying we need this specific file, right? And you can see where it is, right? And then we're gonna say everything inside of common class, right? So I can say const common page lowercase. It's not, don't be confused. And then if I want to bring all the object from a class, I need to basically create instance of that class. The way we do it is that we use the word new and then common page, right? So page is being passed over to, the reason why we pass the common page is because the common class would need to know where you are, what page you opened, you know, otherwise it would be all over the place. It would open other pages, right? So no matter how many back and forth we're doing, we're still using the same exact page, right? Page means the browser. Wherever we are at the time, it will, you know, basically pick it up from there. So now that we have common page, okay, we don't need this anymore. I can say await common page dot visit homepage. Okay, so that was like the very first thing that I, you know, we did basically, right? So just cleaned it up and it's all looking nice and stuff. The next thing is that when we're there, we're clicking on the support. Now where does this code go, right? Because this is gonna go to a specific file. I'm gonna create that right now. Okay, new file for action would be add vehicle page. I'll just say page like this .js. So that's one. And then locator.
Go in the comment page because that's a header and it always stays in every pages, no matter what page you go to.
Okay, how many people think he's right? Anybody that disagrees?
Can you repeat that? Because I couldn't really hear him.
Yeah, go ahead.
The support should be part of comment page because that's the header, and header using every single page I'm looking at.
So you know the question, right? So you have your test right here. We're cleaning it up right now. This piece of code, my question was, where does it go? Does it go to its own file that we have? Or does it go to common.js, right? Common.js. And Tamim said that it'll go to common. How many people
Yeah,
disagree?
locator file.
That's my question.
Locator folder.
That's not the question. The question is, you see, locator has their own files, right? So if you just say locator folder, it doesn't
Is
help
it-
a lot, right?
Is add a vehicle.
I think that it should be its own file so it can be more like specific.
Okay, so you're saying it should be its own file. So let me ask you the next question. Where is the support link or the tab, whatever? Where is it? If I go back to the previous page, okay, we're on the home page now. Where is it?
It's still at the same spot.
Okay, it's here. So is it fair for you to say, I will go ahead and add this to his own? What is his own file?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure this support is different from the common page.
Okay, so okay, let's say if I go to add a vehicle form, do I still see the support?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody else can argue and say that add a vehicle page also have support. And then another person can say, well, apartment buildings also have support. So who will you fight, or at least who will you disagree and say, okay, I want to do this or that? Isn't it better to put it in common, because all of these people have all of these tabs actually have the support. It belongs to everywhere. I cannot even say, you know, like if I had a home page, then I would add it there because this belongs to a home page. But then still it belongs to pretty much everything. So isn't it common for all of it? Because
Yes.
if you want to click on, let's say, for another test, auto ID card request, you still have to go through support, right? So if you add it to
Yes.
common, you're going to be able to reuse it instead of putting in some other. You only put it in common if there's a reusability everywhere else, like any other, you know, other than the same page. Okay.
A question, but isn't that why you created a new class, which is the common page?
Right. That's the whole question, right? We have the common class. My
Yeah, so
question
we'll
was
go
the
on
first
the
two
common
line
page.
of code. Where does it go? I need you guys to tell me logically where that should go.
To the common page, no?
To the comment page, and you can put it wherever you want and it'll work as long as you're following it, but you have to be reasonable to where you're putting, so that way it's organized. Otherwise it'll be all over the place. So when you organize things, you just want to make sure, okay, what is the logic that I'm following in order to organize my test? Because this code, I can put it wherever. If I'm calling it properly, it'll work. But what is the right thing to do, right? So you have to go with one of the logical thing, right? So at least it follows a specific, you know, standard. So now I'm going to take this code out of here because this one is just clicks on support and this one clicks on add a vehicle form, right? So now I can actually put those together, that I want to hover the support and then click on this, right? One step, or I can have 2 steps, right? So in this case, I'm going to simplify. I'm probably going to take both of them and click on add a vehicle form, because add a vehicle form is actually part of the common. It still is here, okay? So I'm gonna take this code from here for the moment. Copy this and it's gone. Obviously, we're gonna go ahead and come back to this. Let's go to the common action first, okay? And I'm gonna add a new one. Okay. The new one should say something very relevant. Sorry, I think. I can say click on support and select add a vehicle, right? That's it. And then all I have to do is paste my code. So now that I pasted my code, you know, I just have to close it. And the question here is that I can see like multiple usage, right? So I'm going to organize these two, right? So you see first hover, then, sorry, first wait for, then hover. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these and put it into a variable. How many people know what variable is? So I can say something like this. I mean, the thing is, like, if you guys ever did Selenium and Java, you would appreciate this a little bit more because it's crazy.
Can I ask another question before we move on?
Mhm.
So instead of all this in one under one sync, right? Can we do it separately? So I can, for example, hover over support, right? If I create its own, then it's actually the same code over and over.
Right. The reusability just expands in this case, right? Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we create another one. Okay. I can say hover over support, for example. Right? If you want crazy reusability, the other suggestion would be hover over. You don't say where are you hovering over. You can say something like this, hover over a string, and you can pass on the value here. Okay, so it'll be a crazy reusability. We're not there yet. I don't want to confuse no one and then have you guys, feel like this is something different. So we'll talk about those reusability later. For now, let's stick to this. So that's one. I'm going to create another one for clicking. So right after hover, you are clicking. So go ahead, and this one should be click on add new vehicle. Okay. And I'll just remove the first two line. Okay. And then what did I do? Okay. So that I'll just probably clean up a little bit. Just go ahead and format the document. There is a shortcut you guys should probably learn. Okay, so now I have these two methods that I just created. This one doesn't need in there. There are two different things. I don't like having the same line over and over again. So the difference between these two is that this up until here. So I'm going to put that into a variable. Okay, I'm going to say const and then give it a name, maybe call support link. Okay, there we go. And then it already knows where I'm gonna pull it from. So for now, I'll just to make sure that you guys understand, I'll just basically copy this, and then we're gonna update this later, the way that it's telling me already. But this is your support link. Then now that we have these two, all I have to do is replace the whole thing as the same exact. Okay. So now if you want to be really, really safe, before you move the locator out of here and put it into your locator common folder, I would run the test and to make sure that it works. Okay. I'll do the same thing for this guy, and I'll actually run the test to make sure it works, and then I'll do the next, because that's the one thing, right? You have to always find out where you are in working condition. You don't want to have 20 problems at any given time. You want to face one problem at a time when you're writing code. Okay. So I'm going to do const, and I'm going to say add a vehicle and same thing. And I'll go ahead and, was there any question? And I'll go ahead and.
Can you explain 9, 29, 30, and 31? Dumb it down for me a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. 1 second. All right. So 29, you created a variable name support link, and this is the code that you put it. Okay. It's the same exact thing. If you are calling this, it gives you this in return. Okay. So the first thing you're saying, okay, I want to wait for this element. Second thing is that, okay, I want to go ahead and hover over this element. The same thing. And same goes for this guy also. Instead of writing this over and over again, remember, what is variable? Variable is a container that contains information for you, so that way you can use it later in your program, right? It just contains some information. Support link is the variable we just created, which contains this guy. And then you're just calling it whenever you need. Okay.
Thanks.
All right, cool. The reason I didn't put await, why didn't I put await here, is because await is already there. And it's gonna give me the whole thing.
So Joe, is that how it goes for like every variable you do?
If that how it goes for every variable, it depends, right? What kind of variable? This is a constant variable, that means it cannot be reassigned. just to be safe. Okay. But there is more types of variables that we'll use over the next couple of classes. But for now, just absorb exactly what you're getting and kind of perfect that kind of, whatever topic we're covering, and then you will get more, trust me. So now that we have two methods, I can create a new method out of these two and say, do this first and do this. Or I can just call them individually, okay? So I'm gonna go back to my test and so I can say, await common page, and I can see what I have in common page, right? So you can say, okay, common page. What was the name? Hover, right? Hover over support, await, and then the next one is common. Click on add-on new vehicle, right? So these two was added. Okay, so far looking pretty clean to me. This will be part of, I guess, verify that we're at the add vehicle form. This could be part of this one because why? When you click on it, when you click on add a vehicle, you want to make sure it actually shows up, that page shows up. So I'm going to move this and put it into the other method, okay? Because it should be part of this one because you clicked on it already. You made an action. You need to wait for the reaction here, right? You need to wait to see what is the result, which is this. You're just making sure this happens, okay? So far, so good. We didn't do the locators yet. We got to move out the locators. But for now, I just want to be safe and I want to run my test to make sure this still works and it doesn't, okay, that's good. That's good. It says that something page is not defined. Okay, so you can see page is not defined. That's a very good common problem. We just have to say these dots because that's how, we have it here. Okay, and that's it. And that's it. Okay, this is coming from the constructor, so that's why we have to use this. Let's go ahead and run it. Title. Okay, so see page. Okay, page is still not defined. Okay, I missed it another place right here. Good to go. Should be fine now. I just want to make sure that I'm not stuck on somewhere and my test doesn't work or something, right? As you're cleaning it up, you wanna do 1 or 2 lines at a time so you know what is working and what is not working. You don't want to deal with the 20 problems at the same time. Okay, so this is good. We were able to move some of the code out of here. Okay, and so now for these guys, let's start moving because these are just the comment. The next one is going to be the one that related to the page that we're dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and move the locators out of here. So if I go to the common, I can see that support is a locator. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to move it out of here, and I'm going to say common locator and dot support link. Support link still hasn't created yet, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna add that support link equal to, oh, not equal to, sorry. I just have to do this. So right here, comma, don't forget the comma. This is typing things automatically for me. Single quote, paste this, that's it, right? And then I can add more on the next one. So I just want to make sure the name is same, support link, copy. I'll go back to my common.js. L is capital, perfect, this is good. The next one is add a vehicle form. So I'm gonna copy this whole thing. And I'll go back, I'll add this. Comma, and then I have to add the next one. So this one I can just now replace because we're calling it from common. How many people are confused right now that you don't understand? Add new vehicle, that's not the one, right? Add a vehicle. Add. This is the one that I just added, okay. And then the last one is for the page title. So copy this. And then the page title is gonna be, this belongs to add vehicle, right? It's not in the common, okay? It's gonna be add vehicle. So that's coming from the const add. I gotta give it a name. New vehicle, maybe, that's fine. Export page something, what is it? Title. Title locator. Okay, so this is what I named. So instead of putting it here, I put it into its own thing because that's the page, right? And we're gonna go ahead and add these things. Now, if I go to comment.js, that's where this locator is being used. So I have to actually go ahead and import that. So I can say const, and then I can say something like add maybe vehicle page, add a vehicle. Okay. Action class is add vehicle page. Okay, add vehicle page is equal to require. And if you don't know what to write, you know, like you can always do the slashes and see where you are. So this is action. It's not coming from action. It should be locator, right? So if I do first, let me see, do a single quote. And see, I have folders, so I can select locator. And then I have all this. So I need that add a vehicle, and that's it. So I can say Control C. I can now go ahead and paste it here. So I can say title locator. That's the one that we added there, and that's it. So none of the locators are here. You know, everything is coming from a place, right? So now we have two of these in the comment at this moment. Okay. So we moved the locators. Any questions? This is our test. We just moved the locators. Okay, now we have to do this for our, okay, so the whole test needs to be cleaned up. Any question, guys? Everybody gets it. That means the homework will be done by Tuesday, all 20.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, if that is clear, then that's good. It's good news.
Actually, I
Okay,
have a
so the
question.
first thing, say it again.
So I have a question. So right now, what you did, the constant, go to the page, not this one. Why you write down the above after the import? Why you write down this line?
Where? Which one?
Common
This
page
one?
equal to require. Above on the under the import.
This?
Second line, yeah.
Yeah. So when you are trying to create a new instance of the class, right? Common page is a class. How do you say where that class is? First, you create a variable and you say this is where the class is, right? So just think like you're locating the file by telling it where it is. And then you're calling it, and you create a new variable, which is lowercase comment page. It doesn't have to be lowercase comment. You can put anything. You can actually put like whatever you want, right? This can be anything. Anytime you're declaring a variable, it could be whatever you want. The reason why I did uppercase and lowercase is because it's actually for the, we're creating the instance of this class, and the class name is common page. And that's why we're just using the same similar name. Well, that's one of the practice that everybody will use even at work too. Okay. So one is to put the path of the file. The other one is to actually make the instance so you can have access to all of the object within the class. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Joe, I wanted to
Cool.
ask,
So yeah. Go ahead.
which add-on is the one that helps you like write the code?
You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to type it. It's the Copilot, right? So I mean, maybe at work you'll use. So some of these things is just some of this extension is basically really useful at work too. But I would say, you know, you see GitHub Copilot, so I wouldn't really use that until, you know, you're comfortable with writing these things on your own. Okay, so now this thing, what kind of name do we give this, right? Maybe this whole thing, I'm gonna say fill out basic information, right? Fill out basic customer information means all the way first name to the zip code. So I'm gonna take that out of here. I'm gonna go back to my action, which is add a vehicle action. And we need to first let me just paste it somewhere so I don't have to go back and forth. So we need to first basically have this guy because we want to have the page. So the next guy that we want to have is we define the class and we want to make sure that we have a constructor within the class, okay? So go back. The class name always starts with a you know, uppercase. So in this case, you're going to say add vehicle page, and it's going to be uppercase and open close. I will probably take that out of here. Oops, what did I do? Control Z, Control C. The vehicle is already imported. And then in a sync, I'll say fill out basic information, right? And then this, right? So I'll go ahead and paste what I have. I can put it in a place. And that's it, right? But we need to make sure that we have the constructor for our page, so we can have access to the same exact page. What this is doing is that when you create an instance of this class, you're actually passing this page from there. So it's always going to be the same page. And then here you just have to basically, because you're using the constructor for the page, you have to say this. Okay, so far so good. Any question here? You guys kind of get it, right? The structure of the class, I don't define, right? I just didn't come up with this. This is the way a class is defined. This is the way a constructor is defined. The only thing is I'm creating is the reusable steps or the steps that I need. So this guy now I can take, but before I can take, what else do I need to do cleanup? What are we forgetting? What do we need to do, or we're good to go? You guys think it's good?
Wasn't it for it to be random?
Yeah, that's for later, but for now, is there anything else we have to do, or we're done with the action method that we just created? Nothing else needs to be done.
I think it's done. We just need to move the locator.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I was asking. If we need to move the locator, we have to do that. And so let me go back to the locator. So the first one is this f name for, so I can do, like, for example, something like this, more descriptive name, maybe like first name, this single quote, this. Okay. Last name like this, email like this, phone like this, save. Okay. Good so far. And now all I have to do is call this thing, right? So the question here is gonna be, if I go back to the edit vehicle, now I have to call those. How do I do that? How do I call anything from this file right here, edit vehicle page?
First name, last name, email.
Really? Okay. First, I can just call it like this.
No, we need to call first the class name. I mean, what is called add vehicle. Then dot the first name.
Don't you have to import it first?
Right. We have to import it. The const, I can say, add, what's the name of this file? Add vehicle page, okay. So I can just give it a nice name like this, the vehicle page. I don't even know if this locator works. Oh, it does. So I can see, like, look, it's working. If I'm not sure, I'll go ahead and remove it. And then if I put, now I get the options locator slash, and then I can see which one I need. Done. And then I will go ahead and copy. And I can say what I need. So see, all these things were added there. So I can just say first name. And then I just need the last name. Haters dot, this is for the email. And vehicle. This is for the phone, I believe. Yeah. Dot, and then see the zip right there. Okay, that's good. So let's say, you're a tester, obviously you're a QA engineer, and now you're testing an application. You cannot just go ahead and put John Doe on everything, right? It's not gonna look good, right? Your test data needs to be realistic, so that way every time you create something, it'll work, properly. So one of the thing is, because you guys are using Node.js, I'm gonna ask Node.js if there's anything that any packages or libraries out there that will help me to add fake information that looks real. Okay. Something that I already know, it's called Faker, right? Faker. And I can say something like Node.js, and I will get information like, how do I edit, right? So npm.js will tell me, how do I add Faker and be able to create, like, you see, fake IDs, username, and all this stuff, right? Birth date, registration. So it tells me all these things. It creates fake information, basically, right? And it says if I want to use it, I got to use it like this. And all I have to do is npm install. And after that, I will be able to do this. Okay, so you guys got to get familiar with how when you need something from out in the wild, you can actually come in here and search for something that will help you write your code, or something that will help you instead of you writing everything, right? We don't want to reinvent the wheel. That means if I was to create a fake name, I can using programs, and I'll probably have to write a few lines. Or I can just add this to my framework, and now I have access to everything that they offer, right? If I go to try online, I'll probably go in a new tab and try to run it. Let's see if that's the way. Okay, so if I run it, right, and running, where's the output? Okay, I can say console dot. Oh, there we go. Console dot log something like Baker dot, like, I don't know, first name maybe. I don't know if this is the way that it. Right, let's see. Okay, I gotta go back in here and see what is the way to get the first. Oh, there you go. Okay, username. Okay, let's use this guy. Control C. I will go ahead and paste it here. So it'll just give me a username. Where's the output? Okay. Can I report it on when username, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's probably, I don't know, why is it not reading? But this is the faker right there. We're boom, boom. Okay. Anyways, but we're gonna use this to get all of our fake data. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're just, if I add this to my framework becoming a bit more powerful, right? So to install, we do this. You can also do it this way. Okay, you can also look at their code. So if I go to the repository, I can basically get more information on how to use it, because every time you use third-party libraries, they provide you with information and they tell you like how you can use it. Okay, and so like see first random, how do you get all this, you know, and then you can actually go in here in the test and you'll see how they wrote their test too, you know, and then see which one you would need. So let's go ahead and add this. And the way that we're going to add is the npm.i, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to copy this command. I'm going to go to my VS Code. I'm going to go to the terminal. I will open a new terminal. I'm going to go ahead and paste that here. I'm going to click on enter. And I don't have to download anything. It's downloaded one package, and that's it. I will go to the package.json just to make sure this is part of my dependency. Okay, it's right here. So now I know this will work. I will now go back to my action class. I will first start to, let's see the documentation. It says the next thing I need to do is this import. This is for CS, right? So ESM and then CJS. So we're probably gonna use this one actually. Let's go ahead and use this. JS, okay. Okay, so we got the faker now configured for us to grab the first last name, whatever is the case. So let's get the email first, okay? So in order for us to get the email, I'll take this thing, Control C. I will no longer need to put this anymore. I'll just go ahead and paste it here. And that's it, right? It should give me the email. Or I can create like a variable const email is equal to this. Okay, and I will just go ahead and it depends like how organized you want to be. I mean, that's it. So it's the same thing. You're writing it here, writing it there. You just give it a new name. That's it. Okay. So we got the email. I just want to, at this moment, want to make sure everything is still working before we move things forward so that I don't have 20 million things to deal with at the end. Looks like our UI is still good. I'm going to go ahead and run it. And then let's see. Okay, oh God, this is human verification going on here. Okay, where did the human verification come at? List email address, did it work? Oh, it should be at the top, right? Let's see, name. Policy number. First name, okay, 1 second. Oh, okay. All right, so we didn't even call this, right? To make it execute, right? It's not even executing because we're not calling it. So I'm gonna have to call it in my test. That's the first thing since we created this. I'm gonna go back to the test itself. And in order for me to call it here, like this is where it used to be, right? I need to create 2 pieces of code. First is constant, right? To make sure that we calling the action, right? Now that we call the action, we have to create the the instance of that class, which we already did. And now I would be able to add it. Await, and then add vehicle page dot fill out. Maybe let's see, what was the name that we choose? Actually, I don't even. Is it fill out forms? No, that's probably not. So action, that was fill out basic information. I'm going to copy this. Control C. And done. Okay, so now let's run it because it wasn't entering the information.
We forgot to add uppercase in the object, like equal to new. Yeah. Add vehicle here.
This one, oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a good observation. We have to also make sure this is it. Okay. So there are 2 different things. Let's go ahead and run it. So as you can see, email was created. Okay, email was inputted. Okay. And this thing is now being annoying, but because we're using automation, so that's why. But I'm gonna go back to this method, this one. Now I'm gonna say I want the first name. Okay, const first name, and then I'm gonna grab the first name, const last name, const email is already there, phone number, some random phone number, const zip code, and that's it. So all of these were basically done. So first name needs to be first name. Okay, and last name needs to be last name. So it's no longer gonna be the same. Okay, email is done already. Phone number needs to be phone number. Okay, and then zip code is zip code. Okay, so see how it looks now. If I run it, let's see what happens. It should fill out with different information every time you run. That's the expectation. Type error, okay, phone number is not a function. So obviously we have to get the right information because the AI didn't even catch this. So let's see, internet, we get a password. So I got it now. We got the email figured out, but we need to know how to get the usage. So maybe the documentation. If I go to the README, they should have it. And I need to now figure out how to get the first name, which one that is having issue with, phone number. Okay. So I need to see how we can add the phone number. I'm gonna just do a search right here. Okay, phone number definition. So I'll go to this. The phone number definition. Okay. Local entry. To generate a phone number. Okay. Let's see, Faker, JS, generate phone number, just to make sure. So you can see person, somebody had this issue, right? So I'm just Googling it to make sure that I'm getting the right phone number. Baker unique number. These things. That's why sometimes like it's really not very helpful with the where is their actual website for the Faker.js? Getting Faker. Okay, this. Okay, this is probably documentation. Let's see. Randomizer framework usage. Okay, ESM. We're using CSJ, so this is the one. Faker full name, email. Okay, that's good. We don't need the full name. We just need the first name. And then last name, and then the phone number. Okay, let's see. Simply ID. Okay, there you go. First name. Person, first name. Okay. And then we got the last name. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and see how we wrote it on our side. Baker. Okay, it says name. No, it should be the person. No wonder it didn't work. No, what the hell? Baker dot person dot first name. That's it. And then this is gonna be the person also. And then phone number should be Baker dot something, right? Let's see what it says. Airlines or down. Let's see what options it gives us before we got the person. Maybe number. Okay, number and then phone number. So I'm gonna see if number class have the phone number. So, and it does have phone number. So see, number class actually have the phone number. Okay, so then address for the zip code should be Baker dot. Okay, required. Finance, data types, the company. Where's the address? Location. And then we have the zip code. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, not the building number, but zip code. So you see like how I even learned this on the fly way, because I haven't used this for a while. So let's see if I run it. Obviously, I don't expect this to work right away. Maybe I have to make some more changes just to make sure it works. Okay, the phone number one didn't work. Phone number one didn't work. Okay. Phone, there's the number. Okay, so let me see how to get the phone number. First and last names, that's good. Image, date of birth. Let's see. We're gonna do a search here. Oh, they don't even have phone. Okay. API reference maybe. Okay, finance is fine. Okay, so construction. Let's see. It's gotta be phone number somewhere, right? There you go. Okay, so we got the IMEI number, which we don't need. We just need a number. Okay, there you go. Faker, phone, and the number. Okay, perfect. So I just take this, and then we should be good to go. Okay, this is it. Zip code, I don't know if this is the way it is, but let's run it and see if that gives us problem. Oh, there you go. So first name, last name worked. Phone number still have its thing going on somehow. Oh, it worked. Okay, never mind. Phone number worked. Zip code worked. We can get a random number for policy. Where do we enter the policy? Okay. So now we know this whole thing works. Okay, using the fake information, you always get the right, So if I run it, okay, so just you know, keep an eye on the name, right? It says Kuch is the last name, and you have some. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see, and I'm gonna run it again. It should be always different information. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and run it again, just show you that the next time it shouldn't be the same person. Okay, so this time is Nara something something, right? Nara. And the other thing is that we can also randomize anything like the bin number. We can randomize it if we would like as well. So let me go back to this. Let's just finish up with the cleanup of our tests. So we can finish the homework later, right? So the next one is add policy number. So I will just go ahead and take this by itself, right? And then I'll do the drop down, and then we're gonna probably divide this into 1 or 2. This is a huge one, just to make sure we're able to do it. So then copy, and I'm gonna put it into add vehicle because that's where it belongs to. So go to the action, create a new one, a sync, and then I'm just gonna say add what VIN number, right? Is that it? Anybody? Oh, vehicle number, okay. Or let me see what we're talking about. Not the VIN number. Policy number, guys, pay attention. Add policy number. So now policy number could be anything. I copied the specific code, and this is the way it is. We're gonna move the locator to where it should be, correct? That's the first thing. We'll go back to our locator. We're gonna add a new one. I'm gonna say policy number is equal to this. And that's it, that's the policy number. Go back in here. I just have to say add vehicle locator dot policy something. Policy number. Here I want to fill out the policy number, but I don't want to fill out like, you know, same thing over and over again. So I'll probably go back in here, read some documents and see what else can I use for random number. I can use the IMEI number from the phone if I would like to, but instead, let's see what else it gives me if I go to the number, and it gives me like really crazy stuff. You see text, sentence, word, whatever I like, you know, random stuff, randomizer. Maybe I will get a, let's see, int, binary, float, int, which is a number. I would probably use something like UID, some sort of ID, you know. So let's see what kind of ID they have here. Alphanumeric is probably good. Okay, so I just want an alphanumeric value. So fake string alphanumeric, that's the way. Let's see how is the usage of this. That's all I care about. See, fake alphanumeric, and I can say how I want it. Minimum 5 character, maximum something something. So this probably is the one that we want to use. So now I can go back to my code. Okay, and I just say something like this, const, and I can say policy number instead of saying fake something something. I can say this, where fake a string character. So whatever ABC minimum is 5. And just from character. So I can say ABC, and I can say like 0987564321. I can probably do like D, E, F, G, H, right? So that way it has a little bit more than just this. So 5 to maximum is 10 characters. So I'm gonna say minimum is 8, maximum is 8, for example. So like I always get the same length of character because this is a policy number. So maybe this is the way the policy number is created from the company that I work with, for example. So that way we can use it like this, okay? So now that this was moved here, let me go to, and we already moved the policy number already, which is good. So let's go back to the test. Oh. This is your test, and this was the policy number. So await, add vehicle, add policy number, and that's it. So let's see if it adds the policy number. And then the next one is we're going to do drop down for the year. And even years, we can have random date at all time, if we would like, okay? So let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so let's see if the policy number is used. So notice that page is not defined. Okay, that's the common problem that we've been facing, right? So all we have to do, where is that page? Okay, this dot something. Okay, this is a common problem that we've been dealing with, so it's not a problem. Let's go ahead and run it. And it should be an 8-digit number that we should see. Oh, this time it didn't give us a problem. It passed. I'll just want to go back and see what the policy number looks like. As you can see, remember we entered like a bunch of characters and it created a random, you know, so if you look at this screen right here, this is the number it generated for you. Okay, so when you're doing the homework, you don't have to add the faker, you know, in addition to what you are told. But this is like at work, well, how do we deal with customers' data? You know, how do we add, you know, users to the application, or even automate when we need information, maybe always different. Okay. So we added that. Let's go ahead and I'll try to finish in the next 10 minutes, guys, because you know it's already 9:29. So we have this. The next one is drop down. So I'll move this away from here. Any question though? Like so far, you guys understanding how things are moving along, right?
Yes, you.
Who's here? Yeah, who's here cannot do the homework now after this? Everybody can do the homework then. Because last time you guys said the same thing after when I asked you the same question. Last time everybody was also fine doing the homework, and then it didn't happen, right? So I moved it here. I'm gonna go ahead. I might not use the faker for now, but as you can, this was an example for you to see. The locators, I'm gonna move it out. The first one is for month, and then I'll go in here. I'm just gonna say month and go ahead and paste that here. Okay, and I'm gonna say day, and I'm gonna say year. Okay, so I just need these commas. Okay, that's it. So month, days, and years are added here. I'll go back to the action. I don't need this here anymore. I don't need this here anymore. For the page, I just need to add this. Okay. Any question? This is for the month. The first one is month. Oh, there's a day. Year. Okay, so this was the second one. If I go back to the task, all I have to say is await and add date. That's it. This whole thing, I'm gonna take it out of here. I'm gonna probably chop it up when I get there. So you know what? Let's just fill out the vehicle. These are all vehicle information. So I'm gonna take this whole thing. And then we have submit, and we have, so it's gonna be 2 of these for now. Okay, I'm being lazy, but you guys can make it a smaller, so that way it's more reusable. Okay, the smaller it is, the more reusability it adds. So async, I'll say add vehicle information, info, and then that's pretty much it right here. All of it. That's 1. And then we need to add. We need to go ahead and add the other one, which is if I go back, it's right here, submit and verify. Okay, this is going to be submit and verify. Okay, so submit and verify was added. So I just divided into 2 for now. And then obviously, like before I move the locator, I'm gonna make sure that everything still works as is. And then I'll move the locator. I just need to add these. I just need to basically, let's see if I can do it all at the same time. It's a lot of them. So I can say something like this. I can say change all occurrences. And I can say these dot, sorry, dot, what am I doing? So dot page, dot locator, and oh, it added extra this, I don't know.
It
Did I
changed it to
just-
all of them.
Yeah, okay, so I can just highlight again and right click, and I can basically change all occurrences. I can set this dot page, and that's it. So this actually fine, but then these guys are not fine. Somehow they added an extra one.
On the top, there is also this twice.
Yeah. Trying to do shortcuts to save the time. There's a lot of features to VS Code that actually helps you to be more efficient with your code. Okay, that's that. Well, even here it added. Okay, I see. Okay, so this is fine. This is also good. This page, everything's good. These guys are good. I just want to make sure. Oh, it added here too for some reason. Oh God, okay. Add a vehicle. Why did it even add there? Lord, okay. Okay, now it's good. Even added here. Okay, so sometime you just have to make sure that you know, when you do these shortcuts, it might cost you more than just doing it yourself. Okay. Everything was like, geez, okay. Anywhere that has page, it added. Okay, so I'm gonna go back actually revert everything. I'll just go back because it's too much work for me to go and fix. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, this is fine. let's see the same approach for the shortcut. Maybe should be like, if I say this needs to be changed, then, okay, then it will probably help. Okay, so trying to show you guys the easiest way to do this. Okay, change all occurrence. Okay, wait, page, oh, these dots, page, dot, locator. That's it. This time, did it do any crazy stuff? No. Okay. It didn't change this one. That's good. It didn't change anything else except for ours. Okay, that's good, right? And then we just have to add this. We just have to add this. Just go to that. Okay, so seems to be good. Nothing got messed up by doing the shortcut. All of these shortcuts is working except for this one, ASYNC. Nobody told me about the spelling. Okay, so I'm just gonna double check that everything is good, and then I'm gonna move the locators, right? So it's always good to make sure that you have everything working before even doing a lot more work. Okay, it's adding all this stuff. Okay, so again, we created these two, it worked, but we just need to make sure that we add those, the last one, right? So add vehicle information, and then the last one is, and then await. Add vehicle page dot click and submit button right there. Oh, not click and submit button. Okay. Dot, what is it? I gotta see the name that I created for it. Submit and verify. That's the. Okay, add vehicle information. I just want to see if this is the same exact name because it's just giving me suggestions. I don't know if it's like, if it's the same. Okay, good. So this is how our test looks like after all this. I'm going to remove all these comments because now it's more descriptive, so we don't even have to put the comment. So in the beginning, you guys saw how crazy our test looked like, okay? And now it's all nice and clean. Let's just run it. It's good, then we move the locators. Okay, so this one phone number missing something. If I go back, this is good. Okay, this dot page. Somewhere this is missing the word this. So this is good. Where's the phone number? The phone number, this dot page dot locator. This is fine. Where did it fail? Okay, expect is not defined, which is fine. All we have to do is add the expect, but not here. The way that we do expect, if I go into the example, right here, we don't need the test, we just need the expect. This is the locator, this is the one. I don't need the test. And that's it. If I run it, it should work now. Okay, so it finished the tests. Everything is working. Okay, you can see everything is working. Now, I'm not gonna go ahead and basically take a lot of your time to move all these locators. You guys get the idea, right? We're just moving it just like this. It's gonna be the same file. A lot of repeated work. Now I guess the final question before we leave. We gonna be able to do the homework, right? Everybody's gonna be able to do the homework. It's a promise, right? Who's here cannot do the homework at this moment? So here's the deal. People that are spending 2 hours, 3 hours, it's not gonna happen. Trust me. In the next 2 to 3 class, you're gonna fall off real fast. Okay? If you're spending 2 to 3 hours, that means you're not even into it. That's the harsh reality. I know it's gonna feel bad. You're gonna feel bad. But I have to give you my honest opinion, right? 2 to 3 hours, it's not gonna happen. 2 to 3 hours, you're not gonna learn anything. You're here for coding. You're here to become a technical person. You're not gonna become a technical person unless you struggle through the code. And that's a promise. You don't want to be, and I'm gonna ask you the same exact question in the next class. I'm gonna actually track and see how many people spend how many hours. And I'm not saying leave your life and start spending all your hours. It's only for 3 months, and then after that you will be a QA engineer. Rest of your life you can do whatever you want, right? We already coming close to the end of January. We have 2 more months. On March, you should be ready for a job with technical interviews. You should be able to do technical interviews, sitting down, writing code, writing tests. Okay, if you would like to get a job. If you're working on manual and you want to get an automation job, then this is the only way. You would have to treat this as a boot camp and don't take nothing for granted. Oh, I'm gonna do it tomorrow or day after. No, do every second that you find, because this is the 3 months that I ask you to be very, very, serious about your own, personal development. This is actually you're improving yourself to be more technical. And 2 hours PRO is not, trust me, 2 hours is not gonna happen. I don't expect 2 hours from you. You worked in the field for like over 2 years. That's not gonna work out. Fabio, you've never worked, and so you should be working even harder. So if you're not spending 6 hours at least until the next, class, then that's really gonna be, it's gonna be really much, pretty much in the next 2 to 3 class, you're gonna fall right off. I don't even have to try to take you out. Jadul, you're very attentive in the class, but 3 hours, again, not gonna be good. And Gian, come on, you had training from Infosys for like almost a year. And 2 hours, no, still not a good looking so far. And this is good that I know this as early as possible, so I can kind of tell you to improve. Okay, so you only learn code and become technical when you practice. You need practice as much as possible. You have 2 more months left. At the end of this course, you want to take something, right? You want to basically say, you're knowledgeable, versus you're going to finish the 3 months and you will not learn anything at all. Okay? The way it's going to go is through 2 to 3 hours. And even 2 to 3 hours, if you're spending 2 hours and you didn't get addicted, like, oh, this is a problem and I cannot resolve it, and you didn't get addicted to that, then that means that 2 hours was not even probably a solid 2 hours. So my recommendation, the next class, I want to see everybody finished with their homework. This is an extension. Those who did it already, you can continue to refine. You can probably add the new library, which is the Faker library, and then you can start improving your tests. But those who didn't, and you're struggling, go back to the last two classes. Start from the very beginning of the automation class. It's gonna be worth it. Watch the very first one, and you'll probably speed things up. If you reach out to somebody and they help you, you're not learning. You have to struggle so that way you can learn. All right. Really lengthy class today, so I don't want to take more time. Anybody has any question? Everybody's good? Okay, then. I'll see you guys on
Thank you.
Tuesday. And you have the weekend. You have a few extra days. Like I said, I'm kind of at this moment, I'm just encouraging you to spend as much as time as possible, because in the very beginning, the first few classes are the important one. And then after that, it's just adding top of that. So if you miss something from the beginning, oof, you know, you're gonna suffer through the rest of the courses. So just go back to the last few classes and you'll probably be fine moving forward. I spend a lot of time. Like I said, I spend a lot of time. You should be right now just writing code, and you should be dreaming code. If you didn't dream code, that means you're not working hard enough. All right. We'll see you guys on Tuesday, and enjoy your weekend. But I wouldn't say enjoy your weekend. Don't enjoy your weekend. Just continue work on this until you finish the homework. Later, guys.
Later, June.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Joe.
Thank you.